Shalom, shalom, guys. I hope y'all can hear me because I'm low-key trying to whisper because I'm in a study room. Y'all, first check the view. It's pretty dope. So yeah, guys. So I'm always like uncertain, and I asked y'all for that today to help me with confidence in uncertainty, right? Because I've been struggling with that. That has been challenging for me my whole life, for real. I don't like being uncertain, and I don't like being in situations where I don't feel confident, right? And that really all boils down to I don't like vulnerability. That's just really what it is. I'm just trying to sugarcoat it, but it really is being vulnerable in a sense, whereas I can be vulnerable with my Abba and be comfortable with him being in control as long as it doesn't make me look like I'm not. We'll ride this thing. I'll ride this thing, bump till the wheels fall off until there's nothing else left to drive, right? Because I mean, should you drive with no wheels? Absolutely not. Can you? Yeah. You shouldn't. You're going to tear the car up, axles busting to pieces, but it can be done. I don't know how far you'll get, but that's besides the point. So it's like, yeah, I'm willing to do everything you asked me to do. When you ask me to do it, the way you ask me to do it, as long as it don't make me look dumb, dog, because, and not even look dumb to other people, because as long as it don't make me look dumb to me, like, as long as it doesn't make me feel like, yo, lovely, you are wilding right now, you have absolutely no control over your situation, you are weak, once I start feeling like that, like I don't know what I'm doing, like I'm in the way for real, then I'm just like, I'm at my Abba's door, like what's going on, right? And it shouldn't be like that, bro. I ask my Abba for clarity and courage, and I should be thankful when he puts me in a position to make me have to exercise those aspects of myself. So today, right, I got this job, right? And it made me feel a way when I got the job. But before I even tell you that part, let me tell you this. So I got this job, filled out the application on my own free will due to my own feelings about my situation and my capabilities within my situation. Remember, I just said I'm cool with everything Yah is doing as long as it don't make me feel crazy, basically. And I don't mean crazy like poo crazy. I mean crazy as in, yo, you all over the place. You don't know what you're doing. You're wilding right now. And so I was feeling like, yo, you're wilding right now. And so I was like, I'm about to just fill out job applications. And so I filled out job applications based on what I knew was easily accessible to me. And then I also filled out applications based on what I didn't know was easily accessible to me. And prior to that, I had been praying and asking Yah to close every door that was not of him, from him, and by him, regardless of how much I tried to pry it open. So, like I said, I filled out these job applications. I filled out a whole bunch of job applications, and I kept getting denied, which has been my thing for like, bro, I promise you, out of my entire life, I think I got my first job when I was 17. I got fired no, I wasn't 17. I was younger than 17. I was like 16. Yeah, I was 16. I got fired from my first job. But it was wild because I was about to quit that job anyway. Not even because it was hard, but once I feel like I've accomplished what I can accomplish based on my desire of accomplishment, I'm done, right? So I was just like, there's nothing else for me to do here, bro. I don't see myself working here forever. I don't want to do this. I think I worked there maybe like a couple months or something like that. And then supposedly I didn't come back for my break on time, which seemed about right. And they were like, you know what I mean, you're fired. And I was like, all right, cool, because I was about to quit anyway. Like, I think in my break, I was probably not going to come back. But maybe I had left something in my locker or something like that. And I came back and they were like, you know what I mean, you're fired. And I was just like, all right, bet. So I called my mom to come and pick me up because I didn't have a car at that time. And it was like, whatever. And then the next job I worked at for like a year. I was 17. This was after I had graduated from high school. And I worked there for like a year. And then I quit that job. And I quit that job because I had started school. Yeah, I ended up, because I didn't go to college right after high school. I didn't want to. I didn't see the need, the necessity, and my parents weren't like making me go. I went to college because I was bored and I could. You know what I mean? I was always like that bright student, so I didn't see a challenge by school. And because I couldn't go to the school that I wanted to go to, my mom wasn't for me like leaving the country, because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go to the University of the Virgin Islands or like some school far away. I also wanted to go to like UCLA or something like that. I didn't want to stay in Virginia. My mom was like, nah. So I was just like, well, I ain't going to school then. So anyway, fast forward, like I said, I worked at that job for like a year, like over a year, because I remember school starting, and I think I was 19 when I started at Norfolk State. So yeah. So either 19 or about to turn 19 when the semester started. And so I had quit that job then because college was fun and I was hanging with my friends and I felt like my job was interrupted. Now, I never worked a job because I didn't have no money. You feel me? Like, I always had cash, and it wasn't because my mom was giving me money. Granted, my mom always would look out, but I had my own money. I knew how to get my own money. Like, I would do hair or write papers. I'm a really good writer, bless y'all. And so I would write papers for my friends or draw stuff for their projects. I was selling candy. I always knew how to get me some bread, right? And so a job to me was neither here nor there. It was always throwaway because I knew if I needed to get some money, I had access to it at any time. And so fast forward maybe like 3 or 4 years, I want to say. Yeah, because I had my daughter. I was working at a college. I was working at a college here, and they wanted to hire me to be an advisor, which is something I wouldn't mind doing now, actually. They wanted to hire me to be an advisor, but I was like, nah, because that would mean my daughter would have to be at daycare all day, and I wasn't with that. Bro, don't allow you to limit you, because y'all put you in positions to choose, right? And if you choose based on your lack of trust, you will fall. Even if you don't fall harshly, you will always come up with the short end of the stick because you playing it safe. You don't have to play it safe with Yah. Yah is exactly who he says he is at all times. And if he says he got you, then he got you. All things come together for the good of those that love Yah and keep his commands, not just a lip service. But you have to be intentional about his word and intentional about walking out his word. I wasn't like that then. I knew who God was, and I do this because that's a title. Is he God? He's the God, not a God. But that doesn't mean that's who he is. In a crowd of people, you won't shout, hey, you, and expect your mom to know that you're reaching for her. So I didn't have a relationship with my Abba at that time. It was just say your prayers, say your grace, don't be mean to people, protect yourself. And so I said that to say I didn't look at that position as an opportunity for me to grow. I saw it as an opportunity to hinder, which it wasn't, right? Side note, I'm not saying that a job is always an extension of Yah's hand, because that's not the case. We have to understand the difference between work and labor, which is why Yeshua HaMashiach said, greater works than these. He wasn't laboring for anyone. He was working for his Abba. And those works can be done in the workplace if Yah so chooses for you to be in that place, but it is not the end all be all. I don't believe that our Abba has in his plan for us to continuously give the skills and talents that he has embedded in us to the growth of the ways of the world. By that I mean just contributing to companies and corporations instead of directly contributing to the kingdom. Can contributing to a corporation indirectly contribute to the kingdom? I mean, if we want to talk about technically, yeah, but this is my opinion and I don't believe it. So I don't see Yah's children working for a company and coming home and watching TV and getting up and doing that the same day until retirement, and then that be the end all be all. I don't think that my Abba has that in his will. Like I said, that's me. But I had to put that in there because since we are talking about labor, right? I don't ever want to be the one to assign labor to work and work to labor, because to me they are two totally different things. I feel like when you work, when you are about your Abba's business, you are about your Abba's business, and that doesn't necessarily mean clocking in and clocking out in someone else's business, which is why I'm kind of partial to my understanding of me, one, even filling out the job application, because I did that on my own free will. My Abba ain't put no gun to my head and make me do that. But like I said, I did prior to that. I have been praying constantly and consistently for Yah to close all doors that are not of him. And so when I got the call back and I participated in the interview and got all the accolades about my interview, right? The way that I answer questions, the way that I performed, basically. And I got hired for the job, right? And not only did I get hired for the job, the initial start date didn't work for me. And so I asked them, could I push it back, and not just push it back a day, not 2 days, not 7 days, not 2 weeks, but like almost a month. And they were like, yeah, sure. For me to perform this task that is before me, I will have to put my daughter back in school. And like I told y'all in the beginning, I don't like feeling crazy. I took my daughter out of school maybe about 1.5 years ago now, due to institutionalization and the systems in place and enforced and the policies that are represented and reflected in any institution as it relates to education like that, because what happens usually in a classroom is totally different from education. And that's just my perspective on a traditional classroom. Yes, I have been in a traditional classroom. I have created curriculum, designed curriculum, implemented curriculum, and taught in classrooms. And so I do understand that the end goal, as it is in Virginia, with SOL testing, with federal funding and things of that nature, the end goal is not the education of the child. It's the institutionalization of the person and to assimilate them into society in a way that enforces the standards of big business in America. Is there anything wrong with that? It depends on your perspective of being. Did Yah create you for that, or were you created for something else? Now, if you were created for that, which everybody isn't the same. Everyone isn't the same. Yah's hand is in everything, but his creation and his reasonings for his creations are not all the same. His reasons for creating his people are different from his reasonings from creating other people. There is a difference between a sheep and a goat. Moving on. So I didn't want her to partake in that, and I knew that Yah had given me the authority to do that, based on the information that he had provided me and the ability to be able to do it, right? Because that's not something that is easily done, right? Because I didn't just say I wanted to homeschool my child. I actually pulled her from the public school system as a whole to the point where there is no record of her. And so now, looking at it like this, I'm like, Abba, I feel crazy, because it's like, on one end, I am promoting a narrative that suggests anything to do with modern day society as it relates to your people is a no-go. We should not be contributing to this machine that continuously oppresses and suppresses your people. As a whole, not just in the workplace, but the food, access to different places, access to different things. I have been promoting a narrative that supports the opposite of all of that. This is like, we should not be engaging in that, because Yah tells us not to participate in the customs of the world, right? It is the custom of the world to get up every day and give all you got to a company and drive crazy because you don't want to be late, and you know what I mean? Just endure at jobs that you don't like, but it's paying your bills. It's just like, I felt, when I hear that, even now as I'm speaking, it makes my skin crawl, because I know for a fact, based on my Abba's word, we were not created to live like that. Like, that was not the ideal design at all. And so I feel away. Well, I don't now. Let me correct myself. I felt away initially, even when they told me we're going to push the start date back so that we can accommodate you, basically, right? And I was just like, Abba, not only is this happening, but I thought you wanted me to go somewhere else. I have been having dreams, and I even asked Yah, I was like, Abba, if this is of you, show me another sign that this is true. And they kept coming. So I know it's like, well, why did you fill out a job application? Because I was filling out a job application based on where he told me where I feel like, and I have to say I feel like, because I don't know for certain right now. It's just like, it's an internal battle, which is, I'm grateful that Yah is allowing this to happen, because like I said, I asked for clarity and courage, and so it is forcing me to make decisions based on clarity and courage, not within myself, but based on my Abba's hand, based on how he moves me, not even inch by inch, like centimeter by centimeter, millimeter by millimeter. What's smaller than a millimeter? A lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path doesn't show you the whole way. If you had ever played in the dark with your friends, right, when you were little, or shoot, even now as an adult, like sometimes I turn the light off and Nyla and I are just wild out, but if you flash the flashlight, like say you lost something in the car and you're trying to find it, if you're trying to light a pathway with the phone, like, right, and it's you got the flashlight aspect of it on, you can't see but so far. Right at your foot is very bright. Anything beyond that is dim. And that's how I feel it is right now. But that's forcing me to trust Yah at a level that I have to be comfortable with as I'm vulnerable, because I don't have no other choice. What other choice do I have? What other choice do I have except for to trust Yah at a level that surpasses my vulnerability? And also not only just surpassing the level of my vulnerability, but surpassing my level of comfortability, being comfortable, surpassing my level of comfortability in my vulnerability. So regardless of how vulnerable I feel and how uncomfortable I am feeling that vulnerability, I have to go beyond that, because I don't have a choice. My only choice is to trust Yah. My only choice is to walk with Him, and to do so without pride, right? Because in speaking to my daughter today, and I know I'm talking in circles, but it'll catch on as Yah as well. In speaking to my daughter today, and then, matter of fact, I'm gonna do that first, because I just thought about it. I got up here yapping and I didn't pray. Abba, thank you for this moment in time and space to sit back and praise your name. For you and you alone are worthy and deserving. Thank you for this opportunity to worship freely, Abba Yah, without being patronized, without being penalized, Abba Yah. Our ancestors have been hanged and killed, Abba Yah, for praising your name, for being steadfast in your word, for standing up for truth. And so I thank you for being able to be in this moment where not only can I pray freely, Abba, but I can pray freely and share this prayer with others. Thank you for protecting us, even in Babylon, Abba Yah. Thank you for lifting our eyes towards you, even in corruption. Thank you for chastising us and correcting us in your love, Abba Yah, and not in your anger. I ask that you continue to lift up your people, continue to surround us with your love, continue to surround us with your heavenly messengers, Abba Yah. Continue to surround us with those person, places, things, thoughts, ideas, and desires that are of you, from you, and by you, and away from everything that is not. In the name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, I pray for my siblings in areas in which I will never go. I pray for hearts I will never meet, Abba Yah, that we all surrender and be comfortable in surrendering and trusting you. Amen. Okay, so my daughter sent me a text message, and she was like, yo, she was confused. And I was like, all right, well, ask for help. She's in camp right now. She's in a tech camp. And I was like, well, ask for help. And whatever assignment that she had, she couldn't be assisted in the task, right? And I was like, all right, well, bet. Your Abba is the beginning and end to all wisdom. So I say, go to him and pray like this. And I told her, and I was like, our Abba in the ahmein, Kadashmeka, right? Your will be done, your kingdom come as it is. No, your will be done in the earth as it is in the ahmein, right? And I lost track because I'm trying to quote what I said specifically. I know I said, your kingdom come, your will be done in earth as it is in the ahmein. And then, matter of fact, hold. Hey, I'm back. Okay, so I went to the text message so I can get everything verbatim. I just like exactness. That's just me. And I've been like that since I was little. Like, what are the facts? Anyway, so what I had told her, I was like, when she had said that, you know what I mean, she couldn't ask for help. I said, well, I'm reading, just in case you want to. I'll flip it. I wrote it down. Okay, so it says, your Abba is the foundation of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Then I texted her, I said, well, pray like this. Our Abba in the ahmein, Kadashmeka, your kingdom come, your will be done in the earth as it is in the ahmein. Your word says that if anyone asks you for wisdom, that you freely give it. I need you to give me sight and vision in this moment and in every moment of my life. Help me to see and do all things according to your wisdom and majesty. I want to be great for you. Release me from pride and the yoke of my own understanding, and help me to walk in your authority. In the name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, the righteous one, we praise you, Abba. Amen. That's what I told her. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Thank you, Abba. But it was for me. Y'all, it was for me, okay? Because I just told you I needed clarity and I needed courage, and how I felt about this job and working and putting my daughter back in school, and feeling like it went against everything that I knew to be true based on what I had heard my Abba say to me and reconfirm in the natural. But my Abba is saying to me, submit to me and you're fine. Regardless of what it looks like on the outside, you're good. Joseph was thrown in the pit and sold in slavery and went to jail and was hungry and, you know what I mean, was forgotten. But yet, Yah still used him. Moshe had a speech impediment. His mama had to put him in the Nile River. He was going to be killed if he wasn't. And he was raised by Pharaoh, and he left Pharaoh and was with the people of Midian who had their idols, and yet still Yah was able to grab him up and use him how he wanted to use him. Abraham had all types of situation going on with his family and their understanding of who Yah is and what that meant. Yah told him to come out in his old age with your nephew and your wife, and I'm gonna make a nation out of you. And he had all types of situations where he felt like he had to lie, and he traveling and he taking care of people. It wasn't just him, Lot, Sarai, and a couple people. He had people that was with him, over 100. I think it was over 200 people, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me, but I know for a fact it was well over 100, plus cattle, plus sheep. He had responsibilities, like Tommy Pickle said. And if you look all throughout scripture, Ruth was out there gleaning, right? And the gleaners weren't necessarily the harvesters, right? They went after those. So she was getting what was left over. But yet, Yah came and got her. And just like Boaz was responsible for promoting the well-being of the family, just like Boaz was a kinsman redeemer, Ruth was too. She was a kinsman redeemer as well, because through her womb we got Obed, and through Obed we got Jesse, and through Jesse we got King Dawid, and from Dawid comes Yahushua HaMashiach. I'm not trying to over spiritualize this position in which I'm in, but hallelujah, I will be joyous in every occasion because of who Yah is. Regardless of my understanding of what he's doing, my position in what he's doing, my understanding of what he's doing, I will rejoice. I will enter into his case with thanksgiving in my heart, because when we submit and surrender to Yah, we win every single time. And I got the example of that here today, because after I sent that prayer to Nyla, she sent me a text back and was like, she gave me one of the answers. Remember I told you that she said that they weren't allowed to ask questions. So she got the answer. Then after that, she texts me and says, oh yeah, by the way, I'm the first one done. She's the only girl in this tech class. She's usually the only girl in this tech class. She's also being supervised or observed by a very prominent person in the tech world right now. And I do mean the tech world. I'm not talking about the state of Virginia. She's being observed by someone very prominent in the tech world who actually has a love for the Most High. And Yah is doing things that are beyond my understanding, beyond my comfort level, big time. And I have to submit and surrender to that. So if in any way this video helps you to know anything, I was that. To submit and surrender to Yah's hand, regardless of your own personal comfort level. Trust him abundantly. Even if you trust Yah, you know they say faith of a mustard seed. Have trust of a mustard seed. Because the fact that Yah woke you up this morning, the fact that you're even watching this video means that he trusts you. Isn't that wild? Like when you think about it, Yah trusts you enough that he hasn't given up on you. He knows that you're going to get it right. He trusts you to figure it out, to get it right according to his will, for his name's sake and his glory. Trust him back. If you don't have big, gigantic, enormous, abundant trust, give him the trust that he gives you. Bare minimum. Bare minimum, Abba, you trusted me enough to wake me up this morning, so I'm going to trust you enough to direct my feet and guide my path. Start with that. Start with the practical. I think sometimes we get into relationships, right? And the expectations we have aren't necessarily the reality because we go into these things blindly with no understanding. Don't have a relationship with your Abba like that. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. My uncle taught me that, and it's in scripture, and I needed it then, but I need it more now. And he taught me it then. This was years ago. And now that I've read scripture and have a relationship with Yah on my own and can see where I run when I should be standing still, not for a lack of motion, but for an abundance of understanding. Sometimes you have to observe before you can assess what's going on properly, right? And even though we understand it based on prior experience, we still have to walk in knowing that Yah is in control and we aren't. And so just because this looks like an old thing doesn't necessarily mean that it can be approached in the same manner. Trust Yah and take it little by little. Start trusting him to provide for you throughout the day, whether that's providing you with clarity and understanding, providing you with wisdom, providing you with peace at mind, peace at heart, providing you with the ability to get out of the bed, providing you with a desire to be great, whatever it is, trust him for that in that day. Sufficient is Yah for that day. Understand that. His provision is sufficient for today. His wisdom is sufficient for today. It is. Worry about tomorrow when it's tomorrow. And I don't mean worry as be anxious. I mean consider the things of tomorrow when it's tomorrow. But as for today, be in good spirits for today. Rejoice in today as Yah is exactly who he says he is today. And have peace in it. Hey, blessed to the Most High Yah. Shalom. May your day be filled with the presence of the Mighty One. And may you find peace in it. And until next time, see you.